Terran versus Zerg. ZvT. Brazil versus Peru. And speaking of Brazil, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have our Brazilian Zerg player. Representing Team The Bad with that lovely face mask. Social distance, everyone. Make sure you stay away from everyone. We have TheZergLord. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Peruvian Terran player. He is purple, representing Team Unidos por el Vicio. United for the victory. It is Tavo. One of the ace players of Team Unidos por el Vicio. Same team as Chaos Fate. Again, there's a reason why the two of them have been working together quite a bit recently. Improving, practicing, drinking. Mainly drinking. So it all comes together. I love what Lord Loken just said in the chat. If you can micro on tequila, you can micro in a tournament. No! Lord Loken, please. But very true. Very true indeed. Meanwhile, slow Iran. Ay, ay, ay. Yes, you can redeem some ay, ay, ay's in the chat if you want with your channel points. It happens. It happens. But we'll see how we go from here. So far, nothing too crazy. Pretty standard openers. Hatch gas pool from TheZergLord. And we do, of course, have a Rax expand here from Tavito. Now, when it comes to players like Tavo and players like Neo, obviously the biggest difference, Neo embraces the mech. Tavo, I've seen him play mech before, but it's not really his thing. It's not really his bread and butter. It's not, it's not his style. At the moment, he has been going for some very, very strong bio tank pushes and parade pushes. His macro has been out of this world. It's been insane. That's really what he's been focusing on improving more than anything else. So we'll see if he's going to be able to pull that off on a map like Lightshade. I'm a little bit surprised, kind of surprised by the vetoes. Lightshade is very good for Terran pushes because the rush distance by ground is very short. On the flip side of things, some of these bases can also be a lot more exposed, and a player like TheZergLord, mate, he can abuse that. He loves his run-bys. Speaking of run-bys, interesting, we do have Tavo going for his third CC before Starport. So, of course, kind of what we would expect. A much more economic-based opener. Oh. A little bit of mispathing there for some of those buildings. But what this does mean, of course, is that it means that Tavo's not going to be aggressive early on with Wintermine drops or a Banshee or a BC opener. Even his Hellions are going to be, not as many as they otherwise would have been. So he is delaying his tech a little bit, but for his economy instead. He wants to get up into 3 bases. He wants to get those strong 3-base push goings. 3-base pushes going. There we go. Meanwhile, ooh, I kind of like this. Are we going to see a switch? As the Tech Lab is about to finish up here on the racks. Overlord dips in to scout what the opener is. There is a Marine to deny the scout, but everything will be spotted. We do see the switch, and we are going to be seeing that Banshee. Or a Raven. Hold on. Okay, it's Banshee. It is still a Banshee opener, just a little bit delayed here from Tavo. Meanwhile, the Hellions do get across the map. He confirms the third base location, that it is at the triangular third, not at the vertical third. So again, a little bit more exposed. It's on the low ground. There's a lot of different avenues of attack here. Very important for the TheZergLord to spread his creep from here, as things can get a little bit scary. The other interesting thing is that Tavo is committed to the Banshees, as he's not just getting 1, he's going to be getting 2, and he's also getting, I almost said Blink, oh my god. He's getting Cloak as well. So yeah, putting a lot of faith in these Banshees. I mean, they can do a lot. They can not just pick off workers, but they can also pick off queens and clear up creep, depending on how many Banshees there are. I expect to see a second. Yeah, there we go. I was like, yo, we should be seeing one more. It is on the way. Meanwhile, the ZergLord also being relatively greedy. I say relatively greedy because he's relied on nothing but Lings, and only just now is he not just working on his lair, but he throws down double Evo chambers. Very greedy style from the ZergLord because he's delaying his Baneling nest. He's working on nothing but upgrades at the moment and just relying on Lings and Queens. So yeah, bold move, but because of Tavo's opener with the 3rd CC, it does mean that there isn't going to be like an early push or anything right now. Like, there is no need for an early Baneling nest. And oh, the ZergLord throws down a Roach Warren. Oh my god! Oh my god, there's more than one reason why there's no Baneling nest. I mean, we're probably going to see one later on because Roach Ravager Link Bane is kind of great. But yeah, we see commitment into Roaches. The ZergLord playing like Eric. Eric, of course, another Brazilian Zerg player, but he's a Duckling. And his preferred style of play in this matchup is to play Roach Ravager. There are, of course, pros and cons to it. The biggest thing is that Roach Ravager, it does fall off in the late game, but mate, you don't intend to go to the late game. Like with Roach Ravager and with a 1-1 timing on a map like Lightshade, I was talking about how on Lightshade, like these early pushes, these rallies, they can hit really hard because of the small map. Same can be said for Roach Ravager pushes. So this 3rd base could be under threat here. The scary thing is that Tavo hasn't seen the tech at all. He hasn't seen the Roach Warren. We do see a massive Ling run by. Oh, they do get past the Hellions. The Hellions have to go all the way back here to the 3rd. Thankfully, the Lings actually didn't get into the mineral line. They were a little bit on a move on the depots instead. Oh, so a little bit of mismicro here by the ZergLord. Really, he was focused on his Queen defense. He was focused on trying to push away those Banshees. I believe one Banshee did die in the process. But that does mean that these Lings didn't deal as much damage as they could have because Tavo was honestly out of position. But here we go. Roaches are coming out. Upgrades are on the way. Roach speed is on the way as well. That's a lot of Queens. Yo, is Tavo playing this like a ZvP? Is he gonna go for a Queen Roach push? Oh boy, this could be terrifying. What do we need at home to defend? We need tanks, mate. We need a lot of tanks. How many do we have right now? 2 tanks, as well as a bunker and a depot wall. I love this wall, by the way, for Tavo. It's so good against run-bys. But I do worry about pushing out right now. If I quickly check, he still hasn't seen the Roaches. But now he will. As here we go, he's pushing deep into creep. Does finally spot the Roach Ravager. Nice positioning with his tanks. Oh my god, they're even pre-split. As they do shell away, but there's plenty of Roach Ravager here to push away the Bio Army. Tanks are getting a lot of shots though. Jesus Christ. But as we see, there's just not enough bio. There's too much Roach Ravager. Everything's going to get cleaned up. Everything's going to get biled down. And oh, I spoke too soon. One tank does get saved. It's kind of hard to say who came out on top there. 21 Roaches went down, but the problem is that this is going to prompt a counterattack by the ZergLord. What do we have to defend? We have 2 tanks, we have some bio. A drop is not what you want to go for right now. Oh, okay, he spots the army. We need to unload. Oh my god, puppy, please. Ay. Stay at home, puppy. Don't go. What do we have? Again, we have a really nice defensive position so far here on the low ground. Ooh, the CC does lift up though, and now in comes the Roach Ravager on top of the exposed tanks. There's just not enough fire. Not enough whatsoever. The boys are being pulled. Tavo knows the position he is in, and it's not going to be enough. All the tanks go down, and so will the bio. Roach Ravager, mate. On a map like Lightshade, it works quite well here. On top of that, Tavo didn't know that it was Roach Ravager until they were fighting outside the 3rd base. Now the Roach Ravager pushes into the natural base. GG gets called, and the ZergLord takes game number 1. GG. When I redeem the IAI's light doesn't say it. Look, it's hard keeping up with the chat, okay? But rooting for Neo to qualify. See, true. Did Eric already qualify? He did. He did. We are still trying to get mid-series, but I guess this is a good opportunity to show things off a little bit. Boom. As we do switch some scenes, and you can see here the players that have been invited to the main event and the closed qualifier. You should be able to notice our Ducklings are in the closed qualifier. Eric and Ryu are waiting there. They don't have to be a part of the open qualifier at all. They were invited all the way into the next stage. Meanwhile, Chan, McKellizer, Special, and Terran are invited into the main event. So that is why you do not see these players in the open qualifier. But yeah, that game was rough. Like Tavo, he was working off of a lot of there was a lot of information they didn't really know. Again, it's one of those things where if he knew it was mainly a Roach Ravager composition, like those Banshees could have been used defensively. They would have been at home. We could have seen even more Banshee production, right? More importantly, the SimCity is also very important, especially defensively when it comes to your tanks. That was a rough fight. It's very rough. Is Tavo not a Duckling? No. As you can see on the screen, Tavo represents Unidos por el Vicio. That is a Peruvian team, not the CranKy Ducklings. Not the CranKy Ducklings. But we do love him. We do love him. That's the thing. Like a lot of the Latin American players, honestly, they show up in the chat a lot. And they support us and the CranKy Ducklings in the community a lot as well. It's really cool. It's something special about the Latin American scene. How they've just been very supportive and very inclusive as well. Massive shout out to them. You know, like Tavo, like Pocket Mike, TheZergLord, Cosmos. But here we go, spawning in the top right hand corner of Jagannatha LE. We have the player who is currently leading this series 1-0. The Brazilian Zerg player representing Team The Bad. It is TheZergLord. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the Peruvian Terran player representing Team Unidos por el Vicio, currently down in the series, but can he bring it back? It is Tavo. Oh boy, so this is what I was worried about. Kind of. So again, Roach Ravager isn't something that all the players in Latin America do. It feels like a Brazilian thing. Eric and TheZergLord, they're probably the biggest proponents of it. Ryu does it every now and then, specifically against Chaos Fate. And now this is where it all comes together. Chaos Fate specifically is kind of weak against Roach Ravager pushes, and if Tavo is learning from Chaos Fate, well then, there you go. You know, all the pieces kind of fall into place, right? Oh boy. Now, does the ZergLord know about Chaos Fate and his influence over Tavo? I mean, it is relatively known in the scene, so I imagine the ZergLord is aware of that. So because of that, things can be difficult here for Tavo, especially if he has to deal with more of that style. But of course, I believe that Tavo can adapt to that. As so far, we have some pretty standard openers. Tachgat Spool, you know, Chalkara. To be fair, I was kind of looking at the ZergLord, you know, if he wanted to switch things up and go for like a pool first or something crazy like that, then I wouldn't put it past him whatsoever. But we'll see. Meanwhile, I see some people asking in the chat, yo, how do we become a Duckling? So our players, our pro players, obviously are on a salary. We do pay players like Eric, Ryu, Neo, Patty Mac, Oreo, Starduck, all of our players. They are all under contract. So yeah. At the moment, we are at capacity. There's a world where I would love to pick up more players, maybe even some Korean players. But the CranKy Ducklings, we haven't grown to the point where we can afford to do that. Not yet, anyway. Like, fingers crossed. One day we can be that big to be able to sign a couple more players. To have them represent the CranKy Ducklings, and also for us to support them as best we can in their endeavors to be pro StarCraft players. But yes, we are not at that level yet. Not yet. We'll get there. We'll get there. We got plans. Meanwhile, once again, we do have a third CC before Starport opening, the exact same opening that Tavo went for on Lightshade. I do think he's going to have an easier time here, kind of. On a map like Jagannatha, it can be a little bit more difficult to pull off Roach Ravager pushes. I say a little bit more difficult just because we have speed zones. They do add to that. Oh boy. As once again, the Overlord does dip in, confirms the entire opener, confirms the timing on the CC, spots the 111, spots the Banshee in production, so the ZergLord sees all. What I will say is that, I mean, Tavo was able to get 5 drone kills with his Banshees in game number 1, so that is something, but yeah, I would imagine the ZergLord is going to be a little bit better prepared here in game 2. Just a little bit. So far, everything has gone the same way. Cloak halfway done. First Banshee is able to pop out. Third CC is already landing on location, so Tavo being a little bit greedy here. He does kind of have map control with his Hellion, so I guess he can afford to do this, but he does have to be careful from those Ling run-bys. Again, taking a very forward third location as well. As the additional Raxes get thrown down. We're going to see double Evo Chamber again. We have the Lair on the way. Once again, before any other tech, gases are finally being taken. All 4 gases even. Interesting. And there are those Evo. No, never mind. Baneling Nest. Yo. Are we going to see a Spire? Are we seeing Lingbane Muta? I love it. The ZergLord mixing things up here. Let's go. 4th is on the way. All 6 gases haven't been taken yet, so that does signify that it may not be Mutas, it may not be Spire, not yet, not yet. As we are missing some gases here. There we go. Both Evo Chambers get thrown down for our upgrades. So Lingbane just for now. And obviously, you don't have to get anti-air if you're a Zerg player. There are styles out there where you just go Lingbane straight into Hive, straight into Ultras and Vipers. It can be very risky to do. You are left vulnerable to drops because of that. Obviously, you make up for that with your map presence, your map vision, and your queens, and you just like meet those drops head on. But that is definitely something that can be exploited if your opponent notices what you're doing. Meanwhile, Hellions, pushing deep into creep. Oh my god, Tavo, please! 1, 2 Hellions get picked off there. Ay, ay, ay. Por favor, Tavo. At the same time, the Banshees do slip on in through the bases, are able to get 3 drone kills so far, almost the 4th. Oh, there we go. 4 so far, and can he escape? Oh, it looks like just barely he will escape with both Banshees. Unfortunately, he doesn't get into the natural and he doesn't scout the Baneling Nest. So just like the last game, he doesn't necessarily know if his opponent is making roaches or... There we go. Oh my god. Mate, you don't know what your opponent's doing? Just scan. Tavo sees the Baneling Nest. He sees it researching, which is the more important part. So he knows that he is up against Lingbane, a much more standard composition. Something that Tavo is a lot more comfortable against. Let's go. Meanwhile, just keeping an eye on things. Still no additional gases. Not yet. I'm waiting to see if an infestation peak gets thrown down. Oh, we do have a macro hatch as well. I think the ZergLord wants to do it. I think he wants to just Lingbane it up until he gets the Hive. I love to see it. I try to do this as often as possible as well. Again, it's so risky. But here we go. This is something that you can try and exploit here. Going for a couple of drops. We do have the Lings and Banes trying to respond to this, but again, there's nothing to really shut down these medevacs. So Tavo, he can trade incredibly well against this. Shaving off a lot of Lings without losing a single Marine, or I think 1 Marine there towards the end. Meanwhile, upgrades are still on the way. 1-1 is about to kick in, and then boom, immediately we're going to be seeing 2-2. Meanwhile, Tavo, oh my god, turtled up hard here at his 3rd base, and as we can see, the ZergLord he isn't going to be going straight into Ultras. We do have a Hydra Den on the way. This guy wants to go into Lurkers. Oh, it's disgusting. This has become a lot more popular recently. Personally, I'm not fond of playing it. But going Ling Bane into Lurkers with, of course, your upgrades and Viper's support, it can be very difficult as a Terran player to push into the Zerg once they get their Lurkers up and running. Obviously, we have time. The Hydra Den only just finished up for the ZergLord. So, for now, Tavo only has to worry about Ling Bane. For now. Oh, here we go. Meanwhile, looks like the ZergLord wants to go for a couple of run-bys. We even have a Census Tower here, so it's even more difficult for the ZergLord to get those run-bys off, at least at the third base. The fourth is on the way. Lings are going to be slipping in, and ooh, they do get into the natural base. Couple of SCVs going to be going down at the same time. Tavo is still pushing into creep, though. Ooh, Lurker Den is on the way. It's not done yet, though. It's not done yet. As 5 SCVs go down, now is the moment to push in. There's a lot of Ling Bane, but depending on how the engagement goes, depending on how good those tank shots are, maybe Tavo can make something happen before the Lurkers come into play. Same time, a little bit of a drop here into the main base, but there are Lings to help respond. Oh, another Ling run by though at the 4th. And there's not a lot here to clean this up. The reinforcements are forced to turn around, not to reinforce the main army. Oh, Tavo, he unsieges, he's pushing in deeper. Oh god, the ZergLord's getting ready for a surround. We'll see how good that's going to go for him. Actually goes for a counterattack instead. Oh my god, there is a world where Tavo pushes through here, breaks through, and gets the tech. This tech is so exposed. The Baileys are just now finishing up. Oh god, how good are the splits? At the same time, that massive Ling Bane counterattack gets cleaned up, and now the Infestation Pit, the Hydra Den, and the Lurker Den are all exposed. Oh my god, the ZergLord needs to stop this. He needs to clean this up. Oh, the Bailey connections are just barely good enough, and the ZergLord will hold. For now. I say for now because, mate, Tavo doesn't want to stop. He wants to keep going. God, he was so close. The Infestation Pit was halfway dead. I kind of want Tavo to keep pushing here, right? There's no creep, you know? But instead he's going for the 4th base, a 5th base even. Ling Bane is finishing up. The Widowmine's coming in. Oh, not the best shots there. The Ling Bane still gets a surround on the Marines. The Marines still get dealt with. Maybe Tavo overstaying his welcome a little bit. He wants to wait for these Widowmines to reset. The problem is that now enough time has passed. Hydra's finished up. Lurkers are on the way. With Lurkers, it's going to be so difficult to really break this. But Tavo's not stopping. This is worrisome. Let me just quickly check the vision here. He did see the Lurker Den. He needs ghosts. He needs liberators. He needs to switch his composition. He cannot keep going bio like Marine Marauder Medevac Widowmine. It's just not gonna work out for him. He's trying though anyway. Ling Bane is gonna roll in. Does connect with some of the bio. These Lurkers are exposed, to be fair. Where's the buffer? They need something to protect the Lurkers. Oh my god, one Lurker gets focused out, but only one. Jesus Christ, the ZergLord being so greedy. At the same time, a massive Ling run by here at the 3rd base. 17 SCVs go down. Tavo. He's going to clean this up, but it's too late. The damage has been done. And now Tavo, he's struggling. He's down to 52 SCVs compared to the 75 workers of the ZergLord. Sure, he has 4 CCs. Sure, he does have mules, I guess, but Tavo, he is hurting. There we go. Double jump headed across the map. I feel like Tavo, he's realized I can't really keep pushing through the middle, the center of the map. That's not working out for me. I have to go for drops again. And drops can work out. The problem is that there's no multi-prong. There's just a single drop, so the ZergLord doesn't have too much to worry about. Like, he can focus on nothing but said drop. There we go. Drop goes in. The main army does respond. Are we going to see many worker kills? A couple of drones go down. The gas guys are as well, but we are going to be forced to see a pickup here. Oh my god! The medevac actually got sniped. Ugh, 2 drones for an entire medevac full of units. Ay, ay, ay. Here we go, another drop towards the north. I mean, at least now he does have 2 active drops on the map. But the longer this goes on, the better it is for the ZergLord. 3-3 is on the way. The one thing that we're missing here, the biggest thing that we're missing from the ZergLord, we need Vipers. We don't just need Vipers. Okay, we do have the Lurker upgrade, so that's great. But Vipers with Blinding Clouds, with their abducts, will definitely help here. Alright, here we go. A tri-pronged attack. We do have a double drop into the main base. Ooh, into a dead space area as well. The ZergLord doesn't necessarily have eyes on it. The main army is pushing forward outside the 4th, but we have plenty of lurkers in position. Tavo cannot push in. Ooh, and that drop does get dealt with by the Lings. We do see Tavo clearing up the creep though. Again, he's at least accomplishing something with this buyer, but he still doesn't have an answer to the lurkers. Ooh, potential nice snipe here on the 6th base. Lings are trying to respond, but great positioning here by the Marines and the Marauders behind the mineral line. Oh, and the lurkers are being very bold right now. The ZergLord, please. We see a stim forward. We see, oh, the lurkers, they don't go down. Oh, there wasn't a scan available, or the Lings were a little bit too good there in that situation. And it looks like this 6th base is going to survive. Oh my god. I'm shook, mate. I can't believe it's alive. There was potentially a nice moment there for Tavo, but unfortunately he couldn't capitalize. He's moving out again. Interesting decision, by the way. He's going into tanks and ghosts. I guess this is a great supplement, just like if you don't want to make extra starports. Hold position. Oh, Jesus Christ. Lurkers, please. Here we go. Tanks do outrange lurkers. Again, tanks are the superior lurker in this case. And oh my god, all the lurkers are being sniped! Ay, ay, ay. The ZergLord being spread a little bit thin here. He's trying to deal with these drops, but because of that, the majority of his supply wasn't here protecting the lurkers. Finally, he rotates over. Oh boy, here we go. Another drop towards the 4th base even. Oh my god, a lurker run by. Oh, this is gonna deal devastating damage. Tavo needs to make something happen here and now, as he's going to lose the base. And there we go. It looks like he has cut off the Zerg player from this top left-hand base. The hatchery will fall, so we're gonna be trading a base for a base here, essentially. Meanwhile, the lurkers are running on in. Oh, the tanks were left exposed. Ah, Tavo, please. And with this, the Bard lurkers are trying to get on top of the entire army, and it looks like they will get a lot of shots off, but at the cost of all the lurkers. And this is the problem with the lurker composition. Once you lose the lurkers, it takes so long to remake them. I think the ZergLord, he pulled the trigger a little bit too early there. There wasn't much forcing him to push in to siege tanks like that. And just like that, the majority of his lurkers are dead. There's only 1-2 remaining here defensively. The rest are across the map, and even then they're getting cleaned up. He didn't even get the base. He got 15 SCVs, which is pretty good, but again, not ideal. And we're back in this position that we were in before. The tech is exposed. Hydras are trying to push in, but Hydras against tanks, you never want to see that. Oh my god, Lings are trickling in as well. No Banelings though. And it looks like Tavo is doing it. Is he? Oh god, it's so close. Oh my god! The ZergLord just barely forces him back! Oh, but in come the reinforcements. And again, there's only one lurker here on top of the ramp. One lurker holding line. There we go. 7 more are on the way. The ZergLord desperately needs them to hold on. Tavo backs off. He's rotating towards another base. He did get a hatchery here. Did get the 3rd base. I just can't believe it. There we go. Infestation pit finally goes down. Lurkernet is still alive. Tavo headed towards the fresh 6th base. It's weakened from earlier as well, so this base should go down, but now the lurkers have been replenished. The ZergLord just has to be careful. Like, he's sometimes a little bit over eager with these lurkers. I know that you want to dive on top of an army, but at the same time, you got to wait for the opportune moment. Meanwhile, speaking of an opportune moment, we have a massive Ling run by. Gets on top of one of the tanks, is going to be able to get on top of the second here as well. Beautiful trades with just Lings. Doesn't just get the tanks, he gets the SCVs. 15 more SCVs go down. The base falls. The third CC does go down. The entire army is forced to run back home to deal with these Lings. Mate, 3-3 Lings with adrenal glands. Cracklings, they're no joke, mate. And both players are hurting so much. The ZergLord did just double expand to retake his bases. He needs a little bit more time. Like, he has lurkers, he has some Lings, he has some Hydras. Of course, the Lings are being used for counterattacks. Oh god, but he's still lacking here. I'm so surprised. He's being too active. He's being caught out. Oh my god. Oh, one lurker goes down for free. Another Ling run by. Oh, but we have reinforcements. Oh my god, Tavo was waiting for this. He's ready. No, you don't need to turn around, Tavo. Oh god. He does turn around. I mean, he catches the Lings, is able to clean them up. What's important though, Tavo? He takes another base, mate. He takes the bottom right. He did lose his third, to be fair, but the fact that this is up and running, the fact that this is mining is huge. I feel like the ZergLord is aware of that. He's going for another Ling run by, but the planetary is not done. This is an orbital, not a planetary. Oh my god. Tavo, please. I was shook. Oh, this will be cleaned up. And Tavo, his entire army, the all-army hockey, he moved everything to deal with this one Ling run by. And that exposes the rest of his bases. The ZergLord is pulling him apart with what little he has. Ooh, nice snipes with those ghosts. In come the lurkers. I feel like in a head-on engagement, though, he can't really fight this. Like, he's doing some nice guerrilla tactics, you know? Like, pulling him left, pulling him right. Never fighting head-on. Again, another Ling run by. Oh, this time Tavo was prepared for it though. The ZergLord, ugh. He needs something more here. Finally! We wanted it 10 minutes ago. We got it. Vipers. Vipers are now out. With Vipers, these, oh my god, these infestors, what? These lurkers are going to do so well once the blinding clouds get thrown down. But of course, we need the Vipers in position. We also need to see the Vipers dodge the EMPs. You gotta respect the ghost, mate. Here we go, we see a massive burrow. Oh, a big choke point, but the blinding clouds get thrown down. The tanks become neutralized, but at the same time, the majority of the Lings already got taken out. The ZergLord, he cannot capitalize on the blinding clouds, and I think that's it. Okay, no, there's enough energy for a couple more blinding clouds. Maybe he can make something happen here. Oh my god, but the Terran rally is just so good. The base is gonna go down. Lurkers are coming in, but again, they do not outrange the tanks, and they're being focused down as well. Ay. It's been a hard-fought battle, but it looks like Tavo has broken the ZergLord. Every single lurker gets picked off. The Vipers, they're out of energy. There are actually no Hydras left, only Lings and only Banelings. And even then, the Baneling nest gets picked off. What a roller coaster of a series. Finally, is this tech finally going to get picked up? There we go. Lurker then goes down, Hydra then goes down, and with that, so do the hopes of the ZergLord. GG, Tavo takes the game, and we are going to the ace match. Let's go. Wow. So, I mean, get Tavo into a game with Ling Bane? He can do well. He can do well. There were some questionable moves, and you could argue that there were some areas where he could have focused a little bit more, could have applied a little bit more pressure, but regardless, like, he was so on point with his drops. He was suffering with those run-bys. I mean, we gotta commend the ZergLord, right, for those situations, for consistently going for all those run-bys, but at the same time, there were some questionable engagements from the ZergLord. Like, losing lurkers, it takes so long to rebuild them. You have to make the Hydras, then you have to morph them into the lurkers as well, especially if you don't have Hydras at the ready. Like, it can take so long, so losing a massive chunk of lurkers like that, like 6 to 7, is devastating. Oh. GG. And with that, we are going to that ace match. go. We're tied up 1-1. And as we get ready for the ace match, let's have a look at that bracket, by the way. We spend a long time in that game. We need to find out what's been going on. Exclamation mark B in the chat to have a look at what is transpiring here as what? Roy beat the... What? Roy beat Chaos Fate? No. What? That doesn't make any sense. How? How? Hold on, I gotta look this up. What's happening here? Roy is in game. And so is... Okay. There is a mistake on the bracket. Roy is currently mid-series versus Chaos Fate. Roy did not defeat Chaos Fate to go up against Sinner. Sinner's waiting for his opponent. Okay. So there's a bit of a mistake on the bracket. Don't worry. Neo is currently going up against Tylon, another Chileno. Cristiano is up against Paco Mike. Ooh, Cristiano 2-1 Loki. Not bad. Loki is one of those up-and-coming Chileans. Did go all the way to the ace match. Really, that's what we expected to happen in that series. There is a world, by the way, where Cristiano beats Paco Mike. It's unlikely, but Paco Mike's worst matchup... I know Fernando doesn't want me to say this, because we're big Paco Mike fans here on this channel. But Paco Mike's worst matchup is PvP, so if he were to lose in this qualifier, it would be up against Cristiano. Would happen. Meanwhile, let's scroll up a little bit. Oh, a grudge match. So a couple of things happened. Zion took down Crown at 2-0. Feels bad, man, for Crown. Another one of those up-and-coming Chileans. But this is a grudge match. Eggs versus Zions. Last season. I think it was last season or the season before that. Actually, last year. Zions did knock Eggs out of a tournament. In a very interesting fashion indeed. Two very strong players that are facing off in the quarterfinals. Zions versus Eggs. That's brutal. That's a good PvZ, and that better be being casted by someone. Meanwhile, the winner of this series is going to go up against Rio Jin, a Bolivian player who I have not heard of. I would favor the winner of this series up against Rio Jin. I do think he's a little bit out of depth, a little bit. So, the winner of this series, I feel like, has a pretty clean road up until the semifinals. Oh boy. We'll see. We'll see how we go here. Who is going to take the series? I should probably update the score. Hold on. Boom. There we go. And we've made it, people. We made it all the way to the ace match between these two amazing Latin American players. And spawning in at the bottom left-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres, we have the Brazilian Zerg player. He is red, representing Team The Bad. It is TheZergLord. And spawning in the top right-hand corner. I see Finatok in the chat. In the top right-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres, LE, we have the Peruvian Terran player. He is purple, representing Team Unidos por el Vicio. It is Tavo. AKA United for the Victory. And united they are. I love you, Fernando, and I love Paco Mike as well. Yeah. And I love Cristiano. That's the hard thing about these Latin American qualifiers, is that we're fans of so many of these players. Like, let's be real here. Both the TheZergLord and Tavo, they're both deserving to be a part of the closed qualifiers. We love them both. We cast them on a weekly basis. But there can be only one. There can be only one. Oh boy, who is it going to be here? Honestly, after this series, I need to get some water. I need to... Oh boy, oh boy. Alright. Oh, here we go. So far, standard openers. The big question is, what style is the TheZergLord going to go for? That is the question. Are we going to see some Ling Bane once again into lurkers? Or are we going to see some Roach Ravager? The map will come into play. We are on 2,000 atmospheres, a more larger map, a more standard map, a more difficult map to pull off Roach Ravager, I would say. Much more difficult compared to Lightshade. Lightshade, you can pull it off just like Blackburn, you know, easy mode, easy. But on 2,000 atmospheres, we have ramps. We have more defensible locations here for the Terran player at his third base, at his natural base. It's difficult, it's hard. So we'll see what he decides to go for. Are we going to see mutas? The ZergLord many times has gone Lingbane into muta to great effect. We'll see what he decides to do. Meanwhile, from Tavo, I feel like we're going to see more of the same. It's one of those things where I'm pretty sure he's been grinding the same build, the same opener, time and time and time again in this matchup. Just fast OTC into 1-1-1 into Banshees. So we're probably going to see that again. Seems to be Tavo's bread and butter at the moment in this matchup. As there it is, show us the tech lab on the racks, then the eventual switch. Ooh, and yeah, we'll see how this goes. Meanwhile, I can see some fans in the chat, Ramen in the chat. Of course, he is another Peruvian player, cheering for his boy Tavo, Tavitito. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, I just realized the other big name that we're missing is Cats. Cats has played in the qualifiers before. He's never made it out, but it's always fun to see Cats compete and play. He's always fun to cast with his special tactics. Meanwhile, Hellions are getting across the map. Ooh, 2 creep jammers. Very nice. Very annoying if you're a Zerg player, I must say. For two of your tumors to go down immediately. Feels bad, man. Meanwhile, Overlord comes in, and the ZergLord gets a full scout of the main base, once again confirming that everything is normal. That Tavo has been doing the exact same thing 3 games in a row. And despite the ZergLord scouting this, typically these Banshees actually do deal some damage. So, yeah, we'll see if he can find some damage here in Game 3, just like he has in Game 1 and 2. Oh boy. Meanwhile, my eyes are still on the ZergLord. He's continuing to go for this fast lair style, like, as in, like, he typically skips his Baneling Nest or his Roach Warren and gets a faster lair. He's done this every single game so far, with double Evos to follow up. But the question is, like, what tech are we going to see? You know, are we going to see a Baneling Nest or a Roach Warren? Oh! We have confirmation, and it makes sense. At the start of the game, I was talking about how on 2,000 atmospheres, you don't necessarily want to go for a Roach Ravager. It is harder to pull off. It is easier for the Terran player to defend. So this does make sense. The ZergLord, again, reverting back to his Lingbane. For now, at least. As his 4th gets up and running, we should be seeing some Evo Chambers. There we go. Evo Chambers get thrown down. I guess the big question is, like, does the ZergLord believe that he could have had better success with his lurkers on Jagannatha and he just made a couple of mistakes and he thinks that he can do it again? Or is he going to go for a Spire? You know, that's kind of the big question here. I do think that he can probably find better success with lurkers on 2,000 atmospheres. I think that Jagannatha can be a harder map to pull that off on. So, I wouldn't be opposed to the idea. Wouldn't be opposed at all, as the Banshees are being a little bit annoying, chipping away at the 4th base. At the same time, Hellions are cleaning up a lot of the creep in the middle of the map. There's still so much more to deal with though. Oh my god, they just dive straight in. Oh, they just don't even care. But they should, because they're gonna get surrounded. Tavo, please. Oh my god. I don't know what prompted him, but he just sent everything that he had, and as a result, he lost a Banshee and he lost every single Hellion. Jesus Christ. And with that, he relinquishes map control. Tavo. It can be so tempting. Like, I understand. It can be so tempting. You see a mineral line, it's like, yo, let's go! And you pull the trigger, you get in, and you just roast it all up. You know, go full KBBQ, Korean barbecue. But, that was not the time to just go YOLO, you know? He just... just threw caution to the wind, and he just threw everything he had. That was rough. That was rough. It's not the biggest of deals, but like, what this does mean is that it means that the creep spread is going to get out of control. The goal of those Hellions are to minimize the creep spread as much as possible and set things up for a follow-up push. And if you keep your Hellions alive, then you can turn them into Hellbats for that push. I mean, the armory just finished up. It would have been great to have 7 Hellions alive right now. So, yeah. A great catch from the ZergLord. A bit of a questionable move from Tavo. And off of that, the ZergLord mate, he's perfectly fine now. He doesn't have to worry about any more aggression or Hellion run-bys at least. Sure, he still has to deal with it. Ooh, still has to deal with the drops. A juicy Bailey connection on said drops already. Half a medevac pool of Marines goes down. But now he feels safe enough to tech up. And there we go. He is, in fact, going into those lurkers again. And he's having a much more comfortable time getting there. Oh boy, and just like, look at this creep. It's just, look at it. It's already outside the 4th mate. It's disgusting. Like, that was gonna have to put in a lot of work, a lot of scans to clean all this up. Ooh, one tumor just barely gets out of range. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. You know, we do have a bit of a drop here at the natural base, but it's not gonna accomplish too much. There we go, another scan does get used. Creep is being cleaned up. We have a bit of a Ling run-by being set up here to head towards the 3rd base, but Tavo was aware that he is rotating around to help meet it. As the Ling Bane's rolling in. Oh. Okay, we do have a couple of Marines responding, and the Ling Bane does back off. And just quickly checking here, has Tavo seen the tech? He hasn't, not yet. In his mind, it could still be into Spire. He hasn't seen the lurkers. But, you know, he can also be deducing that it is lurkers just like the previous game. Could be just working off of that. Ooh. As he is trying to rotate around to this fresher space here. I mean, what's important is that even though we have the tech for lurkers, and oh, it is confirmed, it is scouted, we don't have any lurkers yet. We don't have any Hydras yet. So now is the time to push in and just deal with pure Ling Bane. And maybe he can get a base for his troubles. Oh, at the same time, another massive Ling Bane run-by, but oh, Tavo was ready for it. The run-by does nothing. The Ling Bane here is struggling a little bit. He wants to get some connections, and he does. A handful of Marines get picked off, but we still have plenty of tanks behind this, and there we go, the leapfrogging forward. The ZergLord, he's getting ready for a surround. Oh my god, he's going for it. The Banelings are rolling on in. One of the tanks, it looks like all the tanks are going to get picked off. A full surround. The ZergLord eats up the army. Widowmines, where were you? We needed you. Oh my god. Regardless, even though the army got cleaned up, in come the reinforcements. Now they're not necessary at home to defend that 3rd base. Oh, still some juicy Baneling connections though. We need the Widowmine shots to go off. And some of them do, but it's not good enough. The ZergLord holds against the 2nd wave. His base was so close to going down. That was so clutch from the ZergLord. I was so impressed that he was able to muster enough forces to defend that. Jesus. And now Tavo's in a rough place. He just spent so many tanks and Widowmines, and he got nothing for it. He just traded armies. He didn't get any workers, he didn't get any drones, he didn't get any bases. Ugh. And now the ZergLord is maxed out. He's not just maxed out. Hive is done. Seismic Spines is finishing up as well. Next up, we have Adaptive Talons, a +3. Oh boy. Everything is going the ZergLord's way right now. Tavo needs a little bit of time to stabilize, and he's getting it, to be fair. The ZergLord is focusing everything on upgrades and defending, which means that Tavo has an opportunity to remax and push out once again. The creep spread has a little bit to be desired here. It is being respread, but not too much here. This is the problem though. Lurkers are finally done. And they do have lurker range, so Tavo has to be so careful with how he positions his army. Oh my god, and the Vipers are even earlier! Yo, the ZergLord knows he's pushing on forward. We have the Blinding Clouds on the tanks, the Burrow with the Lurkers, the Baileys connect. And the ZergLord swats away this army. At the same time though, we do have a bit of a drop here at the natural base. A couple of drones are getting picked up, which is nice, but not the biggest of deals. It is going to be cleaned up. Tavo. This drop not really doing too much here. Forced to transition into those ghosts. Oh, not just ghosts. Unlike the last game, this time he is going into Liberators, and I love this. I love this choice by Tavo. It's one of those things where if you want to deal with Liberators, ideally, either you get a bunch of Vipers or you include Corruptors. You include a Spire, and that's something that that the ZergLord neglected in the previous game. That's a lot of changelings. That's a lot of changelings. Eventually they'll be cleaned up. Oh, one left. There we go. Nice. Nice. Oh, CC is being delayed. Forces a cancel on the CC. The other one forced to be lifted up as well. And the ZergLord wants to fight. He has to be careful. He is nowhere near creep right now. He only has one Viper. But I don't believe we have the upgrade for Ghost, the energy upgrade. So they still need a little bit more time if they want to snipe or EMP. Oh boy, that CC getting even lower. We do have a bit of a run by here. A single lurker. Expensive run by, but it's only one lurker, so these are acceptable losses for the ZergLord. As the lurker is going to be cleaned up. Oh my god, is that base going to burn down? Repair! Repair, please! Oh god. I'm so worried for Tavo, man. Not like this! Okay, he notices, Thank god. You have another drop head towards the bottom right. He should be able to deny one of these bases, maybe. There we go. Do see a kill, not a cancel. Ooh, first big win here for Tavo. Meanwhile, another link run by, but it runs into an army. So Tavo getting a couple of good trades here. Not gonna lie. And again, he's refining his army, getting more ghosts, getting more liberators. Command center upgrade. Needs a little bit more time though, as he's getting more CCs up and running. He can't just be stuck at home, and he realizes that, oh, we may end up... Okay, never mind. I was like, yo, we're gonna see a pseudo base trade. Okay, the ZergLord responds. He doesn't commit to the attack. Only sends a small force over. And oh, there's nothing here. The changelings were actually checking to see that. As the lurkers are gonna borrow, they're going to be able to get this mineral line. At the same time, Tavo is committed to this attack. Yo, he's gonna get a couple of queens for free. Nice EMPs. Taking out a lot of their energy. Does snipe the base, but he is going to lose his own as well. Catches a couple of morphing Bailings. Do we have enough Vipers? This is what I'm worried about. There's only one Viper, and we're maxed out. Like, the ZergLord, doesn't have the best army right now. He does turn around. He's trying to bank up the rest of his forces. This is still a very deadly push from Tavo. Oh my god, the ZergLord, he wants to go for a wraparound. He wants to go for a massive surround. And Tavo doesn't realize that. Mate, you gotta pull your boys. Oh my god, 2 tanks go down immediately. We do have another blinding cloud on a lot of the buy. The lurkers are burrowing as well, but there's not too much to protect them. Is Tavo doing it? Oh my god, every single lurker is gonna go down. Despite the wraparound, the army was just far too strong here. Tavo, he cleans everything up, and now it's go time. Now he can go for the throat. He can go for the main. Oh my god. Again, one blinding cloud was not enough. One Viper was not enough. And now, one fight was all it took. Despite Tavo struggling to expand, despite him struggling to hold on to these fringe bases, like, the main army is pushing on forward. I feel like he's wasting a little bit of time here, though. He's going for the third base. Mate, go for the main. Go for the tech. Oh, but he's afraid, and I respect that. He probably thinks that there are lurkers waiting for him on top of the ramp, and to be fair, there are some on the way, so instead he goes for a bit of a safer play, goes for the fringe bases, goes for all the mining bases of the ZergLord, but this is where the lurkers are! Oh my god, 7 lurkers just morphed in. Is it going to be enough here? Another base goes out. Oh, the rallying lurker gets taken out. Every single lurker is so valuable here for the ZergLord, and I feel like it's a little bit too late. We need not just lurkers, but a buffer for said lurkers. And oh, they just run into tanks! That's it. They get cleaned up. We do have a bit of a run by, but it's not going to be enough here. Tavo, after a hard-fought battle, after a game that honestly wasn't looking too good for Tavo, like, it took a while for him to finally get a couple of, like, favorable engagements. He's done it. He's doing it. He's going on in. This is it. This is the last army of the ZergLord. This is all he has, and the ZergLord knows he cannot fight it. He backs off. He gives up the high ground. And mate, you give up the high ground, you give up the game. That's it. The Lings rush in. He's going for a base trade. It's all the ZergLord can do. And with that, I think the ZergLord is just going to lose his bases. He's just going to lose by elimination. If Tavo pushes in, he may actually come back home. Oh god, the Hydras and Lurkers are trying to pull something off here. They take out a couple of the ghosts, to be fair. Dealing a lot of damage to these bases, but in comes Tavo, pushing up finally into the main base. The bottom right-hand base is gonna... No, it doesn't go down! Oh my god, this is gonna get more awkward than it should be. As we see Tavo stutter stepping forward here, everything in the main base will fall. This small force here across the map, it's being sniped. Like, there's only so much that they can really do. And the final building for the ZergLord is going to be this hatchery to the bottom right. 2 hatcheries, to be fair. 3 hatcheries. And I don't blame the ZergLord for still being here. Again, single elimination. And he's one of the best in the region. He is, straight up. The ZergLord is one of the best Zerg players in all of Latin America. He was the favorite going into this, but Tavo showing that, hey, the practice has been paying off. He has been practicing very hard with Chaos Fate. He's been improving as a player, and it's all proving, it's all showing off here and now as every single lurker goes down. GG, good luck gets called, and Tavo takes the series. Wrong button. GG. Well played, Tavo. Takes down the ZergLord, one of the best Zerg players in all of Latin America. One of the best players in all of Brazil. He does it. Wow.
Such an easy win for Tavo.
Easy, mate. Easy win.
Easy.
Oh my god. Mate, were you watching? Oh my, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yes, I was. It was such an easy game for Tavo. He didn't have to make any sort of comeback at all. He dominated the entire game. It was complete domination. Oh man, Tavo just played the game of his life. It was like those types of moments when you see death in your face and you're like, no, I don't want to meet you ever again. And you just ignite all your power inside you. You just push that. You just push that motion back, and it's so amazing to see Tavo.
Yeah,
the way he played.
The Grim Reaper showed up, and Tavo said, "No,
no, not today." Oh.
Ay, ay, ay. GG, well played, Tavo, and welcome, the Chilean Protoss himself, Cristiano. Welcome to the stream.
What's up, babies? I mean, ladies and gentlemen, of course. I was watching the games. I was just going nuts, especially Tavo against the ZergLord. for me personally, I know Tavo. He's one of my friends, so I'm
Mhm.
really happy to see him moving forward. Of course, you want to see the best player move on, and that's what happened. It was so amazing. Um, so congratulations, Tavo.
Mm.
A couple days ago, he was like, "Man, I'm losing everything. Why should I keep playing?" And I'm like, "This is why, because eventually you're gonna win," and that's what happened. He just killed one of the best Zergs in Latin America. So
Mhm.
he he's kind of like the guy that can prove you that no matter how many times you are frustrated with yourself, you can still do it. You just gotta keep doing the hard work,
Mhm.
and well, now he must be really happy right now.
Yeah, like this is straight up the best performance of Tavo ever. The biggest result of him beating a player like the ZergLord. Because mate, if you can beat the ZergLord, mate, you can beat Jim, you can beat Ryu, you can beat Eggs. Like they are all around the same skill level, and like it's so huge that he was able to take that series. Like oh my god.
Oh yeah, and now he can put up a fight. I'm pretty sure that he's gonna be able to advance more forward than
Mhm,
many people expecting him to be.
mhm.
So I'm happy. I'm happy that he's succeeding, and I just want to see him play again. I'm excited. I'm like, man, when who does he play against now?
That is a very good question because Tavo is moving on in the brackets to face a player who I have never heard of before. It's a Bolivian player called Ryojin.
Oh, I have heard him before, but not
Oh.
like on tournaments and stuff. On ladder, I
Mm.
always get him on ladder. It's hell. He always goes for an all in, timing push, all in. He never plays macro. I haven't played a single game against him macro, and I played like at least 60 games against him. At
Mm.
least, because some way somehow he's the only player who plays in Brazil, so I'll always get him. It's insane. So I'm happy to see him try the ESL because I haven't seen him play
Mhm.
in these types of tournaments,
Yeah.
and now he's gonna play against Tavo. Tavo already knows Ryogin.
Mm.
He already knows about his style, so he must change his build order, or at least have a better build order if he's gonna all-in, because
Mm.
he's got a lot of mistakes every time he makes the all-ins that give you the opportunity to defend easier. So Tavo with such high level, he's gonna punish him very hard if he makes the same mistakes that I see him make on ladder.
Mm.
So that's what I'm worried about Ryogin. But if
Mm.
he's able to show a very clean game with clean timings, he's gonna have a very good chance of advancing forward.